Welcome, and thank you for attending our webinar today, Ebola Insurance Coverage Opportunities for Agents through Lloyd's of London. Before we begin, a little bit about our technology. Your lines are muted for the duration of the webinar. We do estimate the duration to be approximately 20 minutes, plus there'll be a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. You can slide your chat box open and closed using the double arrow or orange arrow. Don't click the black X, it'll close out your session. And with that, let me introduce our materials and speakers today. The webinar materials were prepared today by Joseph Ferraro, Lloyd's of London cover holder, by Jason Kirchner, owner of member firm Sage Consulting and Wealth Preservation, and by today's speaker, Richard Kaczynski, president of Specialty Insurance Advisors. With that, Richard, the floor is yours.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. My name is Richard Kaczynski, President of Specialty Insurance Advisors, and we are the exclusive U.S. distributor for Lloyd's of London of a specialty insurance product designed to protect healthcare and law enforcement workers from the specific occupational risks that they face. We call this product Essential Professional Insurance Coverage, or SIA EPIC. As you may know, Lloyd's of London is the world's largest specialty insurer with more than $64 billion of capital and reserves, and they've had a continuous A+ rating and have been in business since 1688. So what is SIA EPIC? We call it a new class of employee benefit, and why do we position it that way? We position it as a new class of employee benefit because unlike existing employee benefit products such as disability, workers' comp, health insurance, AD&D, and life insurance, EPIC is actually an indemnity policy that is designed to provide a financial safety net for those healthcare and law enforcement workers that are subject to occupational risks. So SIA EPIC actually supplements those existing benefits. It does not replace them in any way. It's designed to give a lump sum benefit in case of a claim. So what are these types of occupational risks that these people face, these employees face? There are two main types of risks that result from bodily fluid transfer and that can result in acquiring an infectious disease. So one way that they can acquire an infectious disease is through something called a needle stick. And there are over 800,000 needle sticks reported each year, but OSHA says that they believe that less than half are actually reported. The true number is closer to 1.5 million. And the infection rates from needle stick injuries range from 0.3% for HIV up to 18% for hepatitis B. And hepatitis C in and of itself is a very severe lifetime illness. The infection rate for that is 2%. In addition, more than half of all nurses are going to experience at least one needle stick injury during their careers. The other type of occupational risk is classified as workplace violence or assault. There are over 900 deaths and 1.7 million non-fatal assaults in the U.S. in the workplace each and every year. And according to the BLS 2010 report, the healthcare sector leads all other in workplace violence. Close to 12,000 assaults occur each year against healthcare or social assistance workers. Half of those are committed against nurses in a healthcare facility. So if you run the numbers, that works out to be roughly 400 assaults against nurses are committed each month in the U.S. And more recently, there's a link on our website that we can direct you to at the end of the webinar that shows that just in Minnesota last week, there was a very severe assault against two nurses that are still in the hospital today from a patient. What does EPIC actually cover? EPIC will provide a benefit in the event of an accidental infection resulting in a new diagnosis of a bloodborne pathogen such as hepatitis B, C, HIV, and Ebola from any type of bodily fluid transfer due to something like a needle stick, blood splash, cuts, or bites. It also provides a benefit in the event that there is a workplace assault that results in a bodily injury requiring an overnight hospital stay due to something that's categorized as a felonious assault. So the requirement for this is that the insured must sustain a bodily injury. They must be hospitalized, admitted to a hospital. An overnight stay in the ER does not qualify. And there must be a police report that reports the incident at the level of what's called a felonious assault. Now, felonious assault is actually a legal term that is defined in the general laws of each state. The third coverage is an accidental death and dismemberment policy. It's a full 24/7 indemnity. So what EPIC provides is basically 3 levels of protection or coverage, and I'm going to give you a little bit more information about what the benefits are. So in needle stick and bodily fluid transfer, basically we provide $200,000 lump sum benefit for accidental infection of HIV or hepatitis B or C. With Ebola, it's a little bit different in terms of the benefit because unlike hepatitis B or C or HIV, which are lifetime illnesses, with Ebola, the insured would either recover after a number of months or they would die. And so the benefit is actually for Ebola is paid out at the rate of $20,000 per month for up to 10 months. There's also an in-hospital indemnity benefit, and this is a true indemnity. It doesn't matter what other coverage or deductibles they might have from other types of insurance. But the way that it is structured is that it provides for $1,000 per day of coverage for up to 12 days, and the benefit actually begins after the first day. So if someone is hospitalized for 14 days, the payment is actually for days 2 through 13 of hospitalization. Under workplace assault and violence, there's also a $200,000 indemnity benefit. In addition, there's also some ancillary benefit called psychological therapy for the insured, and also bereavement and trauma counseling if there's an incident that results in death. I'm going to come back and talk about a little bit about those ancillary psychological therapy benefits a little bit later in the presentation, why it's important in terms of being able to cost justify the acquisition of this product. The third type of benefit is accidental death and dismemberment. So there's a set schedule that ranges from $50,000 to $200,000 of benefit based upon whether there's a loss of a digit, a limb, hearing, sight, et cetera, up to loss of life for $200,000. There's also a $200,000 benefit for a coma resulting from assault or accident. There is a $200,000 lifetime aggregate benefit limit under EPIC, with the exception of the ancillary benefits. So no one can get over the $200,000 for occupational HIV or hepatitis B or C. It's a limit of $200,000. So how does this complement an existing employee benefit program? Well, as you can see in this chart, if you look on the left side, we look at the different types of an employee benefit that range from workers' comp through disability, health, life insurance, accidental death, and dismemberment. And next to that column, you'll see the coverage. So if we look at workers' comp as an example, you'll see that it's designed to cover workplace accidents with a benefit that provides for lost wages and associated medical care that's required as a result of that accident. The cost for that is included in the existing benefit program that the employer would provide, but the payout is really going to provide just some portion of the lost wages and medical care, and it could be subject to state regulations that could limit the amount that a worker could receive. What EPIC provides is a lump sum benefit of $200,000 that's an immediate indemnity payout. So similarly for the other types of employee benefits and the coverages, you'll see that EPIC, unlike the existing employee benefits that are available today, is really providing a new class of benefit that is an indemnity policy. So what does EPIC cost? Well, the pricing for an individual healthcare policy is $269 per employee per year. So this is a very economical type of coverage for a $200,000 benefit. The group discount structure is, as you can see there, starts at group size of just 20 for a 15% discount and goes up to 33% discount for a group size of 25,000 or above. We have pricing for both the complete employer-paid policy, meaning that they would pay for the entire group, or we basically add $10 to that if it's going to be on a voluntary enrollment basis. So again, very economical. These prices are per employee per year. And what would a reseller make on this? So within those different group sizes, you see the premium is $123, and the reseller commission price rate goes from 18% up to $5,000. From $5,000, it tails off between 15, 12, and 10%. The commissions that are calculated at the right-hand column are the minimum commission within that band, both the first year and on renewal years as well. So how can you help your customer acquire this valuable policy? So it can easily be cost justified on a number of different bases that I'm going to talk about now. And this is where it actually can be very exciting. So the first element that we can talk about in terms of cost justification, or that you can talk about with your client, is that the AD&D benefit that we provide within EPIC is an unbanded policy. There are no age restrictions, or there are no difference in cost based upon age. And if we look at an average cost of $200 per employee per year for $200,000 of coverage, of AD&D coverage, you're looking at $1 per thousand of coverage per employee per year, again, unbanded. So what we've seen is that many organizations are paying between 80 cents and $1.50 per thousand coverage per employee per year. Only in the very largest of institutions, where you may have 100,000 or more employees, might you get down to something under 70 cents. So right on that basis, you can offset the cost by replacing the existing AD&D that your client may have with EPIC. An additional capability that you can talk to them about in terms of how to cost justify this is what we can do within the policy is we can enable a split benefit option. And the way that the split benefit option is very similar to a corporate-owned life insurance policy, wherein if the employer is paying for the full premium, they have the right to decide what portion of the benefit is going to be allocated to the employee and to themselves and to the employer. So we take our example of a $200,000 benefit, and there's a claim. The employer can basically decide that they're going to allot 50% to the employee, or $100,000, and they're going to retain $100,000. That $100,000 can be used in a number of different ways. It certainly can help offset the premium cost that they've already paid for EPIC, but they can also potentially use that to help encourage an employee to come back to work as opposed to potentially filing a workers' comp claim. We've been told many times that most workers' compensation claims that are litigated, 95%, get settled between $50,000 and $100,000. So in the example that I've given, the employer has a very large enticement for the employee to come back to work. That can help offset their workers' comp settlements over time, and that offsetting, that reduction in compensation settlements over time, can help improve the historical experience that that will be used to set their premium rates going forward. So there are a couple of different aspects that can help make this very easily cost justified. The first being the AD&D benefit. It's very cost effective versus what they may be carrying now. And the second is basically giving them a tool that they can use to help offset settlement claims for workers' comp and potentially reduce their premiums over time. Now the third element that I've listed here talks about improving employee satisfaction, performance, or retention. And that's actually a very generic sort of statement that you might hear from any type of an employee benefit package. But I'm going to show you through a case study how that can actually have a tremendous impact on an employer's bottom line. So we're going to talk about one of our first customers, which is Sentinel Hospital in Inglewood, California. And they initially purchased Epic through the National Nurses United in January of 2013, and it was purchased for what are called benefited California Nursing Association nurses. And these were a group of nurses that were full-time. They had to have a certain amount of months of service. But it was a small population of the total employee base at Centinela. So Centinela purchased it because the nurses wanted to have that safety net of coverage both for accidental infection, for needle sticks and other types of body fluid transfer injuries, and they also wanted to have it for the workplace violence and assault. But what Centinela found was that the ancillary benefits that I referred to earlier in the presentation of psychological counseling and bereavement counseling actually helped satisfy a requirement, one of their credentialing requirements. OSHA recommends that every healthcare facility must have a post-incident response in place for any type of workplace assault. And what that means is that traumatic counseling and bereavement therapy, that allowed them to check that tick mark for that OSHA requirement and help them meet their accreditation requirements. The other thing that Centinela found over time was that through the Affordable Care Act, Medicare and Medicaid have implemented something called value-based purchasing. And what that basically means is it's pay for performance. The better an institution does in terms of delivering high-quality health care that meets their customers' requirements, they can get a bonus. If they're falling below standards, they actually will get a penalty assessed to them. And the way that that is implemented is through value-based purchasing survey. And in Centinela's case, 74% of that was dependent upon nursing performance through different types of survey metrics. And that was what was used to determine their annual bonus. In 2013, the first full year of Epic coverage, they received an additional 0.24% bonus, which is attributable in part to the Epic insurance implementation for that full year. Which now 0.24% may not sound like a great deal amount until you understand that that's applied to $600 million in Medicare reimbursement last year, which netted Centinela an additional $1.44 million in operating profit. So it was well over a 10 times return on their investment in Epic. So the proof of the value that this hospital sees in Epic is that the facility has now extended Epic coverage to every hospital employee. So beyond the above cost justification elements and the fact that it's a great benefit for their nursing staff to provide them that peace of mind and that financial safety net in case they do suffer one of those occupational risks, they also recognize that in today's environment that if they were to be subject to having a patient with Ebola or if one of their employees did become sick, this type of benefit can help offset the enormous costs associated with caring with an employee, caring for an employee with Ebola, which, if you recall the Dallas nurse, Nina Pham, who was the first nurse infected with Ebola, her care is estimated to have exceeded $600,000. So most of that is going to be written off, but having a $200,000 benefit will certainly help the employee to recover from that. So we have tens of thousands already covered. These are some of our main hospital corporations and the hospitals underneath them. And we continue to grow that weekly. So we would encourage you to come to our website, which is siaepic.com. We would love to engage you in terms of executing a broker agreement with us to help provide this significant and valuable coverage to your clients. So you can contact me directly at 978-794-4600 or email me at rkosinski@siaepic.com. I look forward to your questions.
Very good. Well, there's dozens of questions that have come in, and we won't be able to answer all of them, but you're more than welcome, of course, to keep asking them through the question box, and Rich and his team will get back to you personally if we don't get to to these today. So the first one is an easy one. Many people have asked Rich if and how slides are available to them.
Sure. They can certainly send an email to me at rkaczynski@saiaepic.com, and I will respond to them and provide them with a copy of the slide set, as well as a corporate brochure that details some of the benefits that I've gone through for Epic that you can forward to your clients, as well as a detail of the benefit summary. So you'll see what the breakout is in terms of the AD&D, the Ebola benefit, and so forth. So all of that can be put together as a package for you.
Thank you. Several people have asked questions similar to how many policies have you done, how many are in force now?
Right. So there were over 15,000 lives covered through the last quarter. This quarter we expect to triple that because of the interest in the Ebola coverage.
What about non-hospital healthcare workers? Several people are asking if they can be covered.
So the definition of a healthcare worker is any licensed healthcare professional. So it could be a respiratory therapist, a physical therapist, anyone that holds a federal or state recognized healthcare license. Or B, it can be any worker, any direct employee of an accredited healthcare facility. So that means it could mean an orderly, it could mean a janitor of any accredited healthcare facility. And an accredited healthcare facility is any organization basically that accepts Medicare or Medicaid payments. They have been accredited by a national accrediting body.
How are commissions paid on a voluntary group basis?
Sure. So if you sign a client that elects to provide it to their employees on a voluntary basis, they would basically provide us on a rolling monthly basis a new census, and you'd be paid based upon that census.
And a couple of people were asking about law enforcement because it was mentioned. Can you address that, please?
Sure. So today we have the ability to enroll both healthcare facilities as well as law enforcement facilities on a group basis. So any type of a law enforcement, municipal, state, or federal law enforcement entity, we can enroll on a group plan.
What are the license requirements? And also somebody asked about P&C.
Okay, so this is a life accident and health license requirement under that. So whether you're a P&C agent, if you have someone that is LAH licensed, you can, we can work with you.
And we have time, let's say, for one more. There's a lot of questions about different organizations you cover. This one specifically, do you cover ambulance companies?
We do. We can. Again, if they are an accredited healthcare delivery company, we will certainly write a group policy for that organization.
We'd like to thank everyone for coming today. It was a very large audience. This is a very hot and interesting topic. We'd like to thank our speaker, Richard Kaczynski, today. That was an excellent presentation and very concise. It's much appreciated. I'll look forward to another webinar on this topic in December and January. We'll be doing them. And this web seminar is now ending. We hope you all have a great day.